Hello guys, in our last example we saw how we could use the while loop. This time around let's go ahead and see how we can use the continue within a while loop. With the continue statement we can actually stop the program and continue on to the next iteration or the next set of instructions. So what I'll do is to just comment this out like so, and let's create a new program and just make sure we don't have any hanging code out there. So the first thing is that I'll create a variable, or I'll just say a value, and I'll set that value and initialize it with a value of 0. And the reason why we're seeing this squiggly line is because we need to indent this backwards like so. Alright, so we don't have that problem anywhere. So while this value, let's say it's less than a number, and let's create that number right here above. So I'll just say number equals 6. So while this value is less than 6, basically that's what we're trying to say here. What we're going to do is to increment the value by 1. So we're going to say this value equals value plus 1. Now what we can also do is to use this value like this. We could just say value plus equals to 1, which is the same thing as saying value equals value plus 1. So in case you see anything like value, let's say plus equals 1 or any number, it just means the same thing with what's up there. So just pointing that fact out by the way. Now what we're going to check is if this number is equal to a specific value. Say if number is equal to 2. So what we're going to do is actually continue this program. So let's say continue. And whilst we've continued, what we want to do is to print out the result. So I'll just say print. And let's do a string and say our format. Let's say numbers are, and I'll do our percent with a D, and I'll come over here and do a percent D number. And let's get, we don't need to use the D again, and we just want to display our number right here. I just increase that size so we can see what we're doing here. So the first thing we did was create a variable or declare a variable called number and value, and initialize number with the an integer 6 and value with 0. And I'm going to check if value is less than 6, and then we're on to value. And next what we're going to do is to check if that number, which is this number, is equal to 2. I mean it has increased and reached 2. We're going to we can stop the iteration and then continue with the next iteration and then print out the result. So let's save this and let's run it. Run a Python file. So it says the numbers are 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, and 6. So there's a problem with our iteration. So let's start looking at our program from top to bottom and see what the problem is. So we have our value equals 0. So checking if our value is less than 6, which is this number we've declared right here. So we're adding 1 to value, and our value is 0, so we're adding 1 to it. So now if our value, I think this is the problem. So you need to check if value is equal to 2, not number, because it's value that we are incrementing right here. So I'll just go ahead and get rid of this and use value. So really sorry about that, guys. So that's where my error came from. Now this is a logical error, not a syntax error, because a syntax error will not even run. A logical error would run, but your results you'll get will have errors. So let's quickly run that and test it. So I'll just save, Control S, and we'll go to run, and run without debugging. So what are we printing out? Are we printing out number, or are we printing out value? We're printing out value, number, not value. So let's change this to a value. And let's run that again. So you can actually see how we can get errors and how we can actually fix those errors in our programs. So we have 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what's happening here? What's happening is that it's actually skipping the value 2. If we change this to 4, it's going to switch out of 4, and let's just see that. So you can actually see what happens now. So we have we just have 5 and 6. Let's just clear this. So let's save that and let's run it again just to test that. So we have 1, 2, 3. If the value is 4, it's going to continue the loop and it will exclude this value here and jump out of that loop. So that's one way we can actually use the continue statement. So seeing this as a numerical example, let's see this as a as an example using some text input. So let's comment this out. We're going to be doing a lot of commenting out for our code, like so. So I'll just skip over here and just use this spot. So what we're going to do is to create a program using a while loop. So I'll just say while true, like so, and I'll just drop it down one step, and we're going to actually get a username just like we have in our earlier example. So let's say username equals input. Let's say please enter your name. I think this should be a question mark. I think it would be better like this. So after we ask the user to enter our name, we're going to check if the name is a specified name. So so let's say if user underscore name is not equal to, so in this example you can use any name you want to use. I'll just use Mahmoud. Basically, if we're entering any name other than the name we're specifying right here as the correct username, we're going to continue. So after we've continued, I'll just hit the return key so we can drop this, and then we can ask for a user password. So we're going to check if it's the proper username and the proper password. It should actually continue or keep looping. So next we're going to ask for a password. So let's say correct. It's going to be equal to an input, and we're going to say hello, and we'll pass in that user underscore name, and we'll use an F string. So we say hello user underscore name. Let's say enter the correct password, and we actually know the password. Hint your name, which is the the most poorest password ever we could create. So I'll just take this one step back so we can actually see this. So basically we're going to ask for the correct password, and we're passing in a hint, which is the name of the person there. Basically that's just what we're passing there, or you can test it in any other password. So next we're going to check if that password is the password. So let's say if correct password is equal to, and we'll just say user underscore name. If the user has inputted the correct password, we'll just break out of the loop right now. And then we'll actually print, let's see, hello, correct username. So first, let's test out the program. If it's working correctly, then we will actually go ahead and just explain what's happening in the program right now. So I'll just go ahead and save that. And let me run this. So let's make this quite large. Please enter your name. I'll just enter any value. So we're actually looping right now. MAHGK, or whatever name we enter. But as soon as we enter Mahmouz, it says, hello Mahmouz, please enter the correct password. The hint is your name. So if you enter a wrong value here, it's going to just do that, and then it's still going to keep looping like so. So even though it actually went ahead and executed, it's still going back to that loop. It's not breaking. So if we enter the Mahmouz and put the same password, we're actually breaking out of that program. So let me just go ahead and quickly explain what is happening here. So if our user, which is the user of this program, enters if you input any name apart from Mahmouz, which is what we just did right here, which is the correct we've set here to compare. So it's going to keep jumping back to the initial loop. So that's why it kept looping when we did that. So this condition is going to be true once, so that's why it's always going to be jumping in and doing that. So if we enter the correct password, which is Mahmouz, which is the username, which is also a name you've set when you're writing this program, then this is going to enter the break statement right here. Otherwise, it's just going to continue to the to this part right here and just print the username to the screen. So that's going to wrap up our quick introduction to the while loop. There's a lot you can actually do with the while loop, but remember, you can break out of a while loop. So let's you can of an infinite loop using the control plus B key. So basically, if you press control and B, you will break out of the while loop. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next lesson.